One of the greatest lessons life taught me is this: stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop looking left and right. Stop keeping score with the next man or the next woman. Your journey is yours. Your path is yours. The race you're running, nobody else can run it for you. Too many people lose themselves because they're too busy chasing somebody else's dream, trying to fit into somebody else's shoes. But I'm telling you right now, if you want a future, if you want something that lasts, you've got to focus only on yourself. Build your foundation. Invest in your growth. And when you do, you'll discover that everything you've been chasing was already inside of you, waiting for you to focus. The future doesn't come to those who copy. It comes to those who commit. So commit to yourself, commit to your vision, and focus only on you, because that's the only way you'll get to where you're meant to be. When I was younger, I wasted time looking around, wondering what everybody else was doing. I looked at the ones who seemed to have it all figured out, the ones who were moving faster, the ones who were already in places I thought I should be. And every time I did that, every time I compared myself, I lost focus on my own road. What I didn't understand back then, what life had to teach me the hard way, is that comparison is the thief of purpose. You can't run forward while looking sideways. You can't build your future while you're measuring your life against somebody else's progress. I had to learn that my timing was not their timing. My journey was not their journey. And just because someone else was shining didn't mean I was failing. The truth is, we all have a season. But if you spend all your energy watching somebody else's season, you'll miss the seeds you were supposed to plant in your own. That was a hard lesson for me, because like anybody else, I wanted validation. I wanted to feel like I was enough. I wanted to prove myself. But one day I realized that the only person I needed to prove something was the man I saw in the mirror. There was a point in my life when rejection was all I knew. I'd go to auditions and hear no so many times that I started to believe maybe I wasn't good enough. I thought maybe the others had something I didn't. Maybe they had more talent, more connections, more luck. But what I finally discovered was that I didn't need to be them. I didn't need to walk their path. I needed to embrace mine. And the moment I shifted my focus, the moment I stopped trying to measure myself by someone else's yardstick, my whole world began to change. See, when you compare, you drain your own power. You hand your confidence over to somebody else's timeline. You start asking, why not me? Why not now? Instead of asking, what do I need to work on? What do I need to build inside myself to be ready when my time comes? And believe me, your time will come. But it will not come if you're too distracted living someone else's life. I had to tell myself, Denzel, stop chasing shadows. Stop competing with people who don't even know your name. Compete with yourself. Outwork who you were yesterday. Outgrow the version of yourself that's holding you back. And let me tell you, when you make that shift, when you stop comparing and start building, you unlock a power you didn't know you had. Because suddenly it's not about impressing anybody else. It's about progress. It's about commitment. It's about waking up every day with the mindset that says, I may not be there yet, but I'm closer than I was yesterday. That mindset, that discipline, becomes your foundation. And when you build on that, you don't crumble when life shakes you. You don't break when others doubt you. You stand tall because you know you've been building brick by brick for yourself, not for applause. I remember times when I wanted to give up, when I felt overlooked, when I thought maybe I should quit. But every time I felt that, I told myself, no, stay focused. Stay in your lane. Your journey is bigger than this moment. And sure enough, The doors that once were closed began to open, not because I was watching somebody else's race, but because I was finally running my own. Life has a way of rewarding the ones who stay true to themselves. It doesn't reward the ones who copy or the ones who compete out of jealousy. It rewards the ones who are patient enough to water their own garden while the world is looking elsewhere. And that's what I want you to understand. Your future is not built on comparisons. It's built on focus. Your purpose cannot bloom in the shadow of somebody else's spotlight. So if you're sitting there right now thinking you're behind, thinking you're losing, because someone else seems further along, let me tell you, you're not behind, you're just in your season of preparation. Focus on yourself. Build quietly. Grow daily. And when the time is right, your light will shine so bright that nobody can ignore it. That's the lesson life taught me. And it's the lesson I want you to carry. Stop comparing, start building, and the future will be yours. When I talk about focus, I'm not just repeating a word you've heard 1,000 times before. I'm telling you from experience, from mistakes, from struggles, that the only way you move forward in life is when your vision becomes bigger than every distraction pulling at you. See, I've been there. I've sat in rooms where people doubted me, where people told me I wasn't going to make it, where opportunities passed me by. I've felt the pull of noise, of temptation, of trying to be everywhere and please everyone. And let me tell you something, it doesn't work. You can't walk toward your future if you're turning your head every 2 steps to see who's watching you. You can't grow into who you're supposed to be if your energy is tied up in chasing things that don't matter. When I was young, I didn't always see it clearly. I thought talent was enough. I thought passion alone would carry me. But life has a way of teaching you that without focus, passion burns out and talent gets wasted. Every distraction looks shiny in the moment, but when you chase it, you end up further from where you're supposed to be. And I realized that the people who get somewhere in life, the ones who leave a mark, they're not the ones chasing every door that opens. They're the ones who pick a door, knock on it until their hands bleed, and when it doesn't open, they kick it down. That kind of commitment only comes from focus. There were times when I had to make hard choices to cut out noise, even from people I cared about, because I knew my dream required my full attention. You've got to understand, your future is fragile in the beginning. It's like a seed. If you don't water it daily, if you don't protect it from the weeds of distraction, it dies before it has a chance to grow. That's why you can't afford to be everywhere, doing everything, saying yes to everybody. You've got to learn the power of no. No to the things that steal your time. No to the voices that drain your energy. No to the comparisons that tell you you're not enough. Your yes should only belong to the vision you carry inside you. When you focus, you see what others miss. You start noticing opportunities that were always around you, but hidden by your own lack of attention. Focus makes you sharper, hungrier, more prepared. And people feel it. They recognize when you're serious, when you're committed, when you've shut out the noise and given everything to your craft. That's when doors open. Not because of luck, but because the world respects discipline. The world rewards vision. The world bends to those who refuse to be distracted. I remember being broke, struggling, trying to figure out if I had what it took. And the easiest thing to do in those moments is to quit, to get lost in entertainment, in comfort, in whatever makes you forget the pain of the process. But I couldn't let myself go there. I told myself, if I give up now, if I waste my energy on distractions, I'll never know who I could have been. That thought scared me more than failure. That thought kept me focused. And when you stay focused long enough, hard enough, consistently enough, life eventually has to give you what you've been working for. Your vision must be bigger than distractions, because distractions will always be there. They'll call your name every single day. The world will tempt you with shortcuts, with attention, with quick gratification. But none of those things will build you a future. What builds your future is patience, persistence, and an unshakable focus on what you're becoming. So if you really want to live the life you dream about, if you really want to see the future you talk about, then you've got to lock in. You've got to make your vision so big, so clear, that nothing, no temptation, no doubt, no setback can pull you away. That's what I did, and I'm telling you, it's what you have to do too. Stop letting distractions win. Stop giving away your energy to things that don't matter. Put everything you have into your dream and watch how your future takes shape. Focus only on yourself. Focus only on your vision. And one day, you'll look back and realize every distraction you ignored was worth the price of the life you built. When I look back at my own journey, one truth stands taller than the rest. I didn't get here by chasing applause. I didn't arrive at this place by trying to win everybody's approval. I got here because I focused on growth, because I understood that my future wasn't going to be built on the noise of the crowd. It was going to be built on the quiet hours of discipline. Too many people spend their lives asking, do they like me? Do they see me? Do they approve of me? And the more you ask those questions, the more you forget the most important one. Am I growing? Because at the end of the day, approval is temporary, but growth is permanent. When I was starting out, I didn't have the spotlight. I didn't have people clapping. I didn't have the comfort of knowing I had already made it. What I had was hunger. What I had was the voice inside me that said, you've got more in you, and it's time to bring it out. That hunger made me read when others slept, practice when others played, and study when others partied. I realized early that the applause doesn't last, but the skill you sharpen, the wisdom you earn, the character you build, that stays with you for life. That's what will carry you into the future, not the approval of strangers. See, there will always be someone who doubts you, someone who criticizes you, someone who tells you you're not good enough. If you live for their approval, then their doubt will break you. But if you live for growth, if you build yourself day by day, no doubt can stop you. I've been turned down. I've been told no more times than I can count. And let me tell you something, those no's didn't end my story, they refined it. They forced me to grow deeper, stronger, sharper. They made me study harder, prepare harder, pray harder. If I had been chasing approval, I would have quit. But because I was chasing growth, I kept going. There's a danger in trying to impress people. You can lose yourself. You start bending your values, changing your voice, becoming a version of yourself that isn't true. And when the lights go off, when the audience disappears, you're left with emptiness because you weren't living for you. You weren't living for them. That's why I tell you, build quietly. Build when nobody's watching. Grow in the shadows. Because when the spotlight finally comes, you'll be ready, and nobody can take away what you've put inside yourself. I remember the nights I doubted myself, the mornings I didn't feel like getting up, the times I wondered if all the effort was worth it. But then I'd remind myself, this isn't about them. This isn't about approval. This is about me. This is about becoming the best version of myself that I can possibly be. The world rewards growth, not excuses. The world notices when you put in the hours, the sweat, the persistence. And here's the thing, once you truly grow, once you've developed yourself, the approval comes anyway. But by then, it doesn't even matter because you know who you are. Growth is like planting seeds. You don't see the results overnight. You don't see a tree the day after you put it in the soil. But if you water it, if you take care of it, if you nurture it, in time it grows into something strong, something unshakable. That's your future. That's your foundation. And it doesn't happen by chasing the sunshine of applause. It happens by staying rooted in growth when no one notices. So ask yourself today, are you living for their approval, or are you living for your future? Because those are two different paths. Approval might make you feel good for a moment, but it won't carry you when life gets heavy. Growth will. Growth is what builds resilience, what gives you strength, what prepares you for the storms that are guaranteed to come. And when those storms come, and trust me, they will, it won't be the applause that saves you. It'll be the growth you invested in, the discipline you practiced, the lessons you learned, the strength you built in silence. That's the truth of my story. I didn't get here by being liked. I got here by being prepared. I didn't get here by winning everyone's approval. I got here by the battle with myself every single day. And if you want to secure your future, if you want to rise higher than you ever imagined, then stop chasing applause. Start chasing growth, because one day the lights will shine on you, and when that moment comes, you won't need their approval. You'll already know who you are, and you'll already be ready. When I look back at my life, one thing becomes very clear: the moments that prepared me for the future, the moments that shaped me into the man I became, were not the ones in the spotlight. They were the moments when no one was watching. They were the times I was alone, grinding, studying, rehearsing, failing, getting back up. People see the lights, they see the movies, they see the awards, but they don't see the nights when I doubted myself, when I stumbled, when I didn't know if this dream was even possible. And I'll tell you something I learned early on. You don't build your future in the open, you build it in the dark. You don't prepare for greatness when the world is clapping for you. You prepare when no one knows your name. I remember walking into auditions and hearing, "Next," before I could even finish. I remember feeling invisible. And in those moments, I had a choice. I could quit, or I could go back home, close the door, and keep working quietly on myself. I chose to work. I chose to practice when no one cared, to study when no one was listening, to focus when the world was distracted. That's what it means to build quietly. Nobody is there to pat you on the back. Nobody is there to post about your effort. Nobody is celebrating your sacrifice. But that's the place where character is built. That's the place where skill is sharpened. That's the place where the future is written, out of sight, in silence, with nothing but your faith and your discipline. So many people want to shine, but they don't want to do the work that makes them shine. They want the recognition, but they don't want the repetition. They want the glory, but they don't want the grind. I've learned that when you focus only on yourself and your preparation, the shine takes care of itself. You don't have to chase attention when you're truly ready. The world will notice you when your light is too strong to ignore. But here's the thing. If you haven't done the work in the shadows, the spotlight will expose you, not celebrate you. That's why I tell people, don't rush the shine, respect the shadows. There were times when I felt broken, when I thought maybe this wasn't for me. But in those moments, I realized something powerful. The world can doubt you. People can reject you. But if you're working on yourself in private, your time will come. Every late night, I spent reading a script over and over. Every early morning, I stood in front of a mirror practicing lines. Every time I walked away from distractions so I could focus. Those were deposits into my future. Nobody saw them, nobody applauded them, but they built me. And when the opportunity finally came, I didn't have to get ready because I had been ready. Quiet work gives you confidence. Quiet work gives you peace. Quiet work gives you something nobody can take away from you because it's yours. When I stepped onto a stage or onto a set, I wasn't standing there on talent alone. I was standing on years of unseen effort. That's why I could perform when the pressure was high, because the preparation had been deeper than the moment. That's the lesson I carry. If you want your light to shine loudly in the future, you've got to be willing to labor quietly today. Don't underestimate the power of the unseen. You may feel like nobody notices your effort, like nobody cares how much you're pushing, how much you're sacrificing. But remember this, your future notices. Every ounce of effort is shaping the person you're becoming. Every hour spent building when no one is watching is setting you up for a future where everyone is watching. Don't be discouraged by silence. Don't be discouraged by being overlooked. Those silent years are your foundation, and without a foundation, no building can stand. I am living proof that what you do in the dark comes to light. My future wasn't built on luck. It wasn't built on shortcuts. It was built on discipline, faith, and quiet work. So when I say focus only on yourself, that's what I mean. Don't waste your energy trying to convince the world who you are. Let your work in private prepare you so deeply that when your moment arrives, you don't have to speak about your greatness. The world will speak for you. Build quietly, and when the time is right, you will shine so loudly that no one can ignore it. When I look back at my own life, people like to call it luck. They look at the movies, the awards, the recognition, and they think, man, he got lucky. But let me tell you something, luck may open a door once, but discipline is what keeps that door from closing. Discipline is the reason I'm standing here, not chance. The future you're praying for, the future you're dreaming about, it's not hiding in some lottery ticket. It's not waiting around the corner, hoping to surprise you. It's in your habits. It's in your choices. It's in your discipline. There were plenty of times I wanted to quit. Plenty of times I didn't feel like showing up. I remember being young, broke, and scared about what tomorrow might look like. I didn't have a straight road paved for me. I didn't know if acting would ever work out. But I made a decision. I was going to put my head down and work. I wasn't going to wait for somebody to hand me an opportunity. I wasn't going to rely on maybe. I chose discipline over doubt. And that's what carved my future. You see, discipline is doing what you said you would do long after the feeling has left you. It's waking up when you don't want to, rehearsing when you'd rather sleep, studying when your friends are partying, practicing when nobody is clapping. The future doesn't belong to the one who had the best circumstances. It belongs to the one who refused to quit, the one who kept showing up, the one who made discipline their best friend. Some people wait on luck as if luck will come knocking every day. Luck is rare. Discipline is available to everybody. That's the difference. Discipline doesn't care where you were born, how much money you have, what family you came from. It only responds to effort. When I was struggling, it wasn't luck that pushed me through those hard nights. It was discipline. It was the decision to stay focused, to learn my craft, to stay humble, to prepare as if the opportunity was already mine. The truth is, discipline gives you freedom. People think freedom is doing whatever you want, but that's a trap. Real freedom is created when you build a life of structure, when you do the hard things today, so tomorrow can be easier. Because when opportunity finally comes, and trust me, it will come. The only question is, will you be ready? Discipline makes sure you're ready. Discipline makes sure you can not only walk through the door, but stay in the room. I've seen talented people fail because they relied on talent alone. I've seen gifted people throw it all away because they thought they could shortcut the process. And I've also seen people with average talent rise to greatness because their discipline carried them further than their skill ever could. That's the truth about the future. It doesn't ask, how gifted are you? It asks, how consistent are you? Every day, life will test you. It will ask you, do you really want this? And most people answer with excuses. But the few who answer with discipline, those are the ones who build a future that lasts. That's how you get to the top of the mountain. Not with luck, but with footsteps of discipline, one after another, day after day. So if you're sitting here waiting on life to magically change, stop waiting. Stop thinking tomorrow is going to be different just because you wish it. Start today. Discipline is a decision you make every single moment. It's not glamorous, it's not flashy, and most times no one will even notice. But when the lights come on, when the opportunity finally arrives, the world will notice. They'll call you lucky, but you'll know the truth. It wasn't luck. It was discipline. It was the work you put in when no one was watching. It was the nights you kept grinding while everyone else was sleeping. That's what built your future. And I'll tell you this, discipline never fails. It will never betray you. It will never leave you empty-handed. The future isn't waiting on chance. It's waiting on your commitment. Choose discipline today, and tomorrow, you'll thank yourself for not giving up.